Hello, it's Kat, and today we're going to talk about self compassion and self validation along with empathy for self. I did a video yesterday and the audio didn't turn out, so I'm redoing the video because I can't fix it. Anyway, just so you know that this may sound like another one that you've watched. And I was thumbing through something that Orlando Bloom and Katy Pearson, Katy Perry. It was talking about a quote that he had made, but I went on into the article and I like the fact that the two of them, even though they're not getting along as a couple, are trying to make sure that they're parenting their daughter in the best way that um, she can develop into the person she is, aside from their differences, which we in relationships with abusers that I tend to talk about, um, that doesn't happen. And so it's kind of a joy to see that endeavor trying to take hold. I was talking about a quote from uh, C G Jung. And the quote is, "The shoe that fits one person pinches another. There is no recipe for living that suits all cases. Each of us carry his own life form, an undeterminable form, which cannot be superseded by any other." And the reason I think that is important to discuss and maybe talk about is that Jung is talking about this understanding and validating yourself, understanding that what may work for somebody else may not work for you. This is why I talk so much about self-care and getting to know yourself and what you like and what you don't like, and developing that of who you are. Because one of the things that happens when we get into abusive relationships is that the methods that are used by the abuser take us away from who we are, or don't allow us to develop into who we are. And so I think it's important, when you hear words like he's talking about here, in that if something is pinching at your feet or pinching you, that it may not be the way and the fit for you. It's like I had difficulty when I first started to be able to speak, that I wouldn't be um, hurting somebody by setting a boundary. And now I understand that I get to make up those rules. If I use the idea that I don't particularly like people who are yelling and are out of control in the way that they are talking. And so if their tone gets too loud or things get too chaotic, I'm not going to stand and I'm not going to listen to it. I have no desire to have conversation with somebody who um, can't keep their own energy a little bit more controlled in how they're coming across. And I understand people get agitated and they may raise up, but that's my gauge that I use is how am I taking this in? Is this bothering me? And then making the adjustment whether I need them to calm down and then I can listen to them later, or I start to rile up and I need to calm down and I can talk to them later. That's all about that understanding who you are, and that it's okay to be different than other people, that we're all not the same. And I think that's what makes life beautiful, when we realize that we all don't have to be the same. And to have some compassion for self that has been put in places where you're having to uh, fit into something that's pinching you, that's hurting you. Um, there's, a difference between like having discomfort in order to grow. And then there's hurting you to cause you pain. And I think that is something that we have to wrestle with and have compassion for and have understanding of and validating where you are in that relationship. And the second thing that I wanted to hit was another one that Orlando Bloom had mentioned about Jung, which is thinking is difficult. That's why most people judge. Well, the abusers like to judge because it's easy to judge because that's just an opinion. And I think we have to be careful when we're taking the abuser's words and using them against ourselves, or we're taking our own judgment and using it against ourselves. I think as people who have uh, been conned by somebody who puts up a facade of that's not who they really are, and they judge us and they tell other people to judge us, and we may end up judging ourselves. And that's what we need to look at is, are we being too hard on ourselves, or are we judging ourselves harshly? It's more of that discernment that you want to have, that more of that balance of compassion, validation, even empathy for self, I think is rather important. So, and lastly, I'd like to hit with that process of Walt Whitman saying, re-examine everything that you've been told. Dismiss anything that insults your soul. It's important to do that work. What society tells us we need to be, what churches and work and relationships tell us that we need to be. We need to be in control of that, who we are and how we put ourselves into the world. And if something has been said to you that is not necessarily true and fits well with you, then dismiss it. Don't just accept it because somebody said it. That's the work of that self-development. You have value, you have worth, you deserve to have your voice heard, and especially by yourself, because you're with yourself 24 hours a day. And so you hear what you think. And so take care. I hope this helps. Bye bye.